Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video because I've been receiving as gifts and buying some amazing products. Some of these I have already tested out once or twice. Most of them are pretty new. Some of them are new to me, some of them are just very new to the market in general, and I thought I would just combine everything that I wanted to try. So I have the ultimate luxury. I have some Chanel, some Gucci, I have some in between, some Glamlite, some Huda Beauty, and then I have some good old drugstore products, some Catrice, some Makeup Revolution, some Essence. Some of these brands you see a lot on my channel, others not so much. I think this is going to be a good mix of high and low makeup, so if you're interested in this mostly first impressions video, then please continue watching and subscribe to my channel if you do like any of these products, because I do feature them more often. Or if you just like this video, then please subscribe. And now let's get right into this full face of fun new makeup. This Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock eyeshadow base, which is not something that I often purchase. I have a couple and I'm content with them. But I'm planning on doing a full face of Makeup Revolution soon, so I'm slowly building up that full face. There are a couple of categories I have everything in, but I guess I didn't have any eye primers yet, so we're testing this one out. It's a giant bottle and it's a long wear eyeshadow primer. Feels very slippery, but otherwise quite similar to my Essence primer. I always like to mention that I'm doing speed reviews now. About once a month I'll go over everything that I've been trying properly. So this is just the first impressions and I'll give you my full thoughts later this month. Alright, so that's eyes primed. Let's go into this fun palette. As some of you may know, Glamlite is one of my favorite eyeshadow brands. So I picked up the Strawberry Shortcake Berrylicious palette. I just couldn't resist these ultimately sparkly shades, and I've heard very good reviews of this one and I really like the color story. So yeah, I'm excited to dig into this one. I'm going to start off with a fluffy brush and I'm going into this matte shade over here, which is a mid-toned pink. I'm just putting that in the inner part of my crease. I'm trying to not bring it too high. The eye primer feels nice, by the way. It's a little bit tacky, but not too much, and it feels thin enough that it won't crease any of my eyeshadows, which sometimes happens with other eyeshadow primers I've used. So I can't help myself. I have to use both the pink and the green shades. I just think it's too much fun that they're both in there. So now I'm taking this crease blender brush. My brushes need to be cleaned desperately, but I'm gonna try to make it work. And I'm going into this minty shade. Putting that more on the outside of the crease. Also putting this underneath the lower lash line on the outside. I really like the pigmentation of these first two shades. I would have loved there to be an even lighter, more pastel green and pink, but this is fine. I'm taking the same brush and I'm going into the deep green now, just to put in my outer corner. By the way, if you want any type of extra content on any of these products, like a full face of the brand or 3 looks with this palette, anything like that, just let me know. I'm always down for someone's tips. This green is just so pretty. I didn't have a lot of green shades from Glamlite yet, and I personally prefer these more cool toned green shades. So that was an extra reason for me to get this palette specifically. Alright, I'm not going to deepen up the inner color because I always feel like that just makes my eyes look a little bit angry. So I mainly focus my darkness on the outer corners. So now let's go into some pretty shimmers. And oh wait, before I forget, this is crazy, but I couldn't help myself because I saw, I think it was Makeup by Alex Kate, used this eye primer by Revolution, and she said that this was more of a glitter primer. And I do have a glitter primer by NYX, but it's running low, and I'm curious to see how this one would work. I don't usually use some kind of primer with my shimmers, but I see a lot of other people do it, and it often looks really good. So I wanted to give it a try. It's very interesting packaging. So I'm just putting this on the biggest part of my lid. And of course the brush immediately becomes very dirty, but I'm putting stuff on top anyway. And I'm also putting it in my inner corner and underneath the lower lash line on the inner side. Yeah, this definitely feels like a different type of primer than the other one. It's clear, it's more liquidy. It definitely removes your makeup underneath. And it doesn't really feel sticky. That's weird. I'm not really sure if this was the proper product to put underneath here, but hey, we tried something. So now I'm taking my pointy pencil brush and I'm going into this light pink shade, which I think is going to be one of my favorites. Do you see there's actually a little bit of purple in there? It's not quite as light as I was hoping. Just barely light enough for me as an inner corner, but it's pretty. Now I'm taking my finger and I'm going into this shade over here, and I want to put that on the majority of my lid. Okay, so the primer that I put underneath has sort of dried down, but it doesn't feel really tacky or anything. So I'm not really sure what the benefit of it is. I may just use it as a regular eye primer next time. It definitely messed with the matte shadows underneath as well. And I don't feel like my shadows look extra sparkly or anything. So now, because I need some precision, I'm taking my pointed flat shader brush and I'm going into this sparkly green shade. And I'm putting that right here where the green and the pink shimmer meet. That's really pretty. That's actually my favorite shade so far. I feel like it's a lot more sparkly than that pink shade that I used. So I'm not going to blend too much in the middle, because as you probably know, that's not going to look very nice. And now for right here in that last little corner, I'm going to take this shade, which appears to be a duochrome from gold to, I don't know, lilac, something like that. It's more of a rose gold underneath my eyes. And now I just want to do one more thing. I'm going to take my pencil brush again and I'm going into the sparkly pink shade, and I'm going to put that on top of that other pink shade, because I just don't like the fact that it's way less sparkly than the outside. I think this is a much prettier shade, so I'm putting it all over my eyes. I'm just going back with that original brush with the green. Clean up the edges a little bit. Yeah, that's it for the eyeshadow. So far I like this palette. The light shades are not quite as light as I was hoping, but I do really like the look that came out of it, so I shouldn't be complaining too much. So I bought a couple of eye pencils from Kruidvat, the Dutch drugstore here. And this is in the shade Innocent Pink, which is just a pale pink, and I'm going to put that in my waterline. These are really nice and creamy and pigmented. I have a blue one, a brown one, a beige one. They're just really nice. And then for my top lashes, I'm using this green eye pencil from Chanel in the shade Jungle Green, which is a really nice, very dark metallic green shade. So I can use it to tightline and accentuate my lash line. This looks really pretty with the metallic green shades that I used. And I mainly do this little line along my lashes for fake lashes. I do actually have a black liner from Makeup Revolution, but I kind of like this look to be a bit more colorful. So I don't think I'm going to use it. I am going to use their mascara. So I picked up this one. I needed a new mascara anyway. So I thought, why not try one from Makeup Revolution? So this is the Big Lash Reloaded Ultra Black Volume Mascara. And I thought that sounded good. I don't think it's really new or anything, but look, it has this giant spiky wand. So I'm very interested. 9 out of 10 times I add fake lashes recently, but I always need something underneath. Okay, this is kind of fun. I don't know if you can see, but it creates sort of spiky lashes. But there's actually not as much product on the wand as you would expect. And it actually does work on my lower lashes as well, which I think is a miracle. But it does. It's not the best, but it works. I'm not totally convinced yet, but yeah, this is definitely a mess. I'm doing it a little bit quicker now. And for my bottom lashes, it gets really messy. I feel like the formula is a little bit too liquidy as well. I like my mascaras to be a lot thicker. I'll definitely keep you posted, but so far I'm sort of so-so about it. I think I'm going to apply the Daydreamer lashes from Glamlite and Michaela. They're a little bit longer, but I feel like it will work really well with this this little bit more dramatic eye look. So I'll be right back. So I'm back. I applied my lashes. I used one of the last bits of my good glue and it definitely went a lot easier. So I may just have to suck it up and buy a new one. Right, let's get into the face. I have something exciting. I finally have my hands on the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector. And I'm not really sure if I'm going to add any foundation on top of this. But I just wanted to see what this would look like on its own first. Of course, it's a very similar product to the Hollywood Flawless filter, which I do have, but it's running lower and... Oh, I made a mistake. So this is the matte one. Yeah, that's on me. I thought I was buying the luminous one, but I guess I bought the matte one. So I think this is supposed to be an actual 4-in-1 product. Yeah, it's very moussey. I feel like the color may actually work for me. Which is okay. I mean, I like testing out new products and this could be really good, but I was definitely hoping for something a bit more glowy today. So I just blended a light layer of it in with my hands, and honestly, I don't know how I feel. It's not bad, it's very low coverage. It's a little bit pink for me, but I think it does work. I think this is more of a primer than an actual foundation, but it could be a nice 4-in-1 for whenever I need something quick to just run somewhere, or, you know, I have those days when I want something super light. But if you compare it to my neck, it's definitely a little bit more pink. So the foundation that I wanted to use was the new Gucci one. But I just did a full review on this one anyway, and I don't think it will combine very well with this. So instead, I think I'm just going to use a little bit more of the concealer that we're trying today. And then I do actually have a powder foundation, so it'll work out. So for concealer, this is not new, but I've been wanting to try it for ages. And this is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Luminous Matte Concealer. So I bought mine in the shade Marshmallow 1.3 Golden. I did shade match myself in store, so let's hope this works. Oh, this is going to be perfect. I'm just going to apply a quite generous amount actually underneath my eyes. Then I'm also putting a little bit on my nose, a little bit right here on my cheeks, and a little bit here between my brows. Just because the coverage of that Maybelline product was a little bit lower than I was expecting. So I always like to let these types of products sit, but I do immediately love the way it's not too thick, not too thin, it spreads out evenly, the color is nice, there's no weird smell. It's up for a good start. So before I blend it out, let's go into brows. I actually have this for a little while, but I forgot to put it in some kind of video. So this is the brow stick from Catrice, the Stay Natural Brow Stick. It's a waterproof eyebrow pencil. I got mine in the shade Soft Blonde, and it's a very, I don't know if you can see it, it almost looks like a very thin lipstick. But I thought this could be good if I want to color in my eyebrows in a quicker way. So I don't usually use eyebrow pencils anymore. I go for eyebrow pens, but oh, this is actually a little bit more waxy. Not quite as pigmented as I was thinking. That's good. This may actually be a really good all-in-one product for me. I thought it was just a general eyebrow pencil, but it's really more of an eyebrow wax with a lot of color to it. And the color itself is good. There were only, I think, 3 or 4 shades to choose from, but I think the blonde works for me, especially now with my slightly warmer toned hair. I actually kind of like what this did to my brows. Look at how intense they are. And they do feel more set down than before I did use the pencil, so that's great. Now let's blend out the concealer. I just like to use a foundation brush for that purpose. Okay, so this spreads out really far. I think I almost used it as a foundation now, which is good because the coverage was so low. Okay, so I've been really silent doing this, but that's just because I actually really like this concealer. It's exactly what I was looking for. I needed something a little bit more full coverage, or at least a high medium, which was a little bit more matte, easy to blend, didn't crease too much. Of course, that we'll have to see about later, but so far so good. So we're going to bronze all of this up. It'll be fine, but I do really like the finish of this. I actually also like it on top of that Maybelline product. It's already starting to dry down on its own. So I wanted to just go in with powder products only, but since this is so light for me, I am going to pull in a liquid bronzer. So recently I did a full face of Essence and I tried a couple of new things, and one of them was this, the Baby Got Bronze, and I'm actually super excited that I get to use this once again. So we're going to give my face a little bit more color again by using this. Yes, I just use it straight to my face. It'll work out. I just really like doing that. A little bit over here, maybe a little bit down here, not too much. I like the scent this has. It's very fake, very fake watermelon-y. So now I take my smaller Real Techniques brush. I'm just going to blend this out, and you will see how effortlessly this blends. I mean, that's nice, right? So this our bronzer stick, it's a little bit more on the matte side. I think the last time I used it, it was slightly more luminous, but that was probably because I was wearing a more luminous foundation underneath. I think on top of this, well, basically matte foundation, it looks a little bit more matte. So now I already feel much better about my skin color. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad. All right, let's just continue using stuff. This is kind of fun. I usually combine cheaper stuff only. So what's next? I think I'll use this one. I have the Blush Highlight Glow Duo Stick from Makeup Revolution, and I bought it in sort of a purpley shade because I honestly couldn't figure out which one would have a highlight for me that would work, but oh yeah, this one will work. So this is the more pinky champagne colored one, and I think this is going to be, yeah, this is one of those slightly more stiff blushes. So I'm going to work a little bit differently here. So instead of just applying it straight to my face, I'm going to take my blush brush and take some on that. I mean, that definitely worked. Okay, so I could definitely have picked up a little bit less. I know that now. So I'm going to go back with my foundation brush again. I think this is actually more creamy than I gave it credit for. So now I also want to use the stick highlighter. And I'm using my finger to tap that out. This is more of a base anyway, because we are going in with that Chanel palette. But I just wanted to see if it would work for me. I think it's a little bit subtle, but the color does work. I like it on my chin. I like what it's doing there. Blends out easily enough. I think this could actually be a really nice product. Now I'm quickly taking my Catrice powder foundation and set underneath my eyes and in my T-zone. This is pretty light for me, but yeah, I guess that's the vibe we're going for today. I honestly don't feel like the Huda Beauty needed a lot of powder. I'm going to experiment with the Huda Beauty concealer without using any powder. I think that might just look even better. But so far, no creasing, decent coverage. I definitely missed the spot there, so that's not the concealer's fault. I do like the way this is starting to come together. So now the moment that at least I have been waiting for. I did try this out in store, but I didn't try it out at home yet. So this is the new Chanel Face and Eye Palette. I think I will do a separate video with this one, using it on my eyes as well. But I did want to show it today because it's beautiful. I got this as a present from my mom, so I'm very happy. And thank you so much if you are watching. So this is in the shade Tendresse. And this is actually going fast. I bought the last one at my store and it was only released a couple of days ago. So what I'm going to do with this one is just do a couple of light layers just to test it out, but you can expect a full review of this one probably as my next video. So this is a bronzer shade. It's a very nice, slightly cool toned shade. All these powders have a natural shine to them, nothing too intense, and some of them definitely a little bit more than others, but they won't look powdery. So I love the fact that it blurred out my forehead. I mean, that was looking a little bit blotchy after the powder foundation. This brought it right back to life. It's just so beautiful, and I love this giant mirror. You guys know that I bought, also as a present actually, the giant bronzer that was sort of in the same packaging over the summer, and I've been using it so much, so I couldn't wait to get my hands on this one. Now I am going in with a little bit of blush, but I feel like this one won't fit very well. So I tested it out in store, and this deep blush over here does work for me. But since I'm already quite blushy, I'm only picking up a little bit. Yeah, the finish is just so gorgeous. And this tone is beautiful with the cream blush that I have underneath. And then finally, this is a highlighter or blush topper, something in between. But I can use it as more of a highlight. And it's beautiful. It's not shimmery or anything, but it's definitely light enough to accentuate my high points a little bit. So I'm using this to emphasize that Makeup Revolution product. And it does work. You see on my Cupid's bow, it's definitely a little bit more than it was. Yeah, so that was a quick look at this palette. I'm not going to do anything more with it. You'll have to wait for the separate review, but just know that I already love it. Alright, we're almost done with our full face, but I have a couple of things that I need to try out. So one of them is the Brow Fixer from Makeup Revolution. This is just a clear brow gel. So it comes in this nice packaging. It's very liquidy. That's interesting. There's a small spoolie. Yeah, so this is not the kind of brow gel that will lift your eyebrows up to the sky. But it will probably shape them a little bit, just like this. I guess I should have expected that. So finally, let's do lips. I really don't know what to do here, because I do have this lip product from Wet n Wild, but I don't think it'll go with this look. But I think we're just going to try it. So I'm taking my Barbie lip pencil from Glamlite. And then I'm going in with this lip gloss from Wet n Oh, this is not from Wet n Wild. This is from W7. My mistake. This is their Lip Tripper holographic lip gloss. I did try this and it looks kind of pretty, but it looks pretty intense and very light. So yeah, let's see how it works out on top of this lip liner. Oh, actually it's a little bit more purple than I thought. It's almost like a liquid lip balm, the structure of it, and feels kind of nice. And I actually do really like it with this look. Alright, and with that we're done. Let's do a quick under eye check. Yeah, so I had a couple of creases, but I was able to tap them out. I'll keep you posted on how that worked. I think I like the way this look came out. It was definitely fun to use more expensive stuff right next to Makeup Revolution and other brands like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you did like it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.